why you can tell who wrote the introduction. Ed embellished. So, if I had known then what I know now, oh my God. How many times have you heard people say that? How many times have you said it yourself? How many times have you thought, if only? And it's not just about, you know, when I had the hot 20-year-old body, why didn't I know as much about women as I know now? There's usually a tinge of regret because if only you'd had those answers then, everything would have turned out different because having the answers is what it's all about. And I would like to propose to you that having the answers has nothing to do with what it's about. That an answer actually puts you into some kind of a cage where you know this thing, you know that much. And what if, in the whole wide universe, there are infinite possibilities for you? What if you ask yourself a question in this 10 seconds, like, if I do this, will it contribute to my life? If I do this, will it contribute to everybody else? And you get a yes or no, and you act on that. Well, it takes you someplace you weren't planning to go. Like, my career was built on, I don't know, blind faith. I found something I loved, and I always made a choice to go further with that. Later, when I discovered Tony Robbins and fell, you know, hopelessly in love with Tony Robbins, I thought, if only I had known then what I know now. What if I'd had a master plan? What kind of career could I have had if I had planned out every step and mapped it out? How soon would I have arrived at the pinnacle and stayed there? What if that's not true? What if kind of muddling through gets you to a lot more interesting places? So if I'd known then what I know now, well, I wouldn't have taken that detour, and I wouldn't have taken that detour, and I wouldn't have, wow, and I would have missed out knowing a lot of people. I would have missed out on a lot of experiences that in the moment were not fun, but definitely carved a deeper hole within myself to feel more, to have more compassion for other people and myself. So I'm thinking, I wasn't just, you know, like, oh, well, I'll just give it a try. I had some answers for myself. If somebody asked me to audition, I was going to audition. And if I auditioned, I was going to get that job. So there was this time in my very first engagement in Freiburg, in the Black Forest. It was winter. And the day was not under a good star. I had an audition in Frankfurt, which means I had to take a taxi and then a train and then a taxi to get there. I walked out the door, icy, on my way to the cab. I slipped, ripped my pantyhose clear to the top. I could have asked myself a question, would it contribute to my life to go do this audition anyway, but I didn't because I knew. So I got there. The pianist had no time to rehearse with me, and I was auditioning for a role which was coloratura. That means you sing as fast as you possibly can in that case. And the pianist played it twice as fast as I possibly could. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. At the end, the pianist got scolded, I got scolded for not stopping him, and then the two guys in charge, I think it was the general music director and the CEO of the opera company, took me aside and said, well, we're not hiring you. And I said, may I ask why? Oh my God. So that was an experience that I did find out. Well, I went home, and of course I had all of the if only I'd known then what I knew now going on in my head, and it just kept going until the next week I had an audition in another city, and I went there and everything was perfect. It was under a good star that day. And they fell in love with me and they hired me, and it was a better job, and if I'd gotten the first job I wouldn't have gotten that one. So hey, the universe, God, may have a couple more things, up its sleeve than you do. Because when we have answers, we just go from, this worked last year, okay, this was my business plan last year, I'm going to copy and paste it, and that's my business plan, that works, right? No. No, it doesn't. Because everything changes. The whole constellation has changed. And you're going with these couple little facts. And no matter how much with your logical mind you try to move as fast as the whole constellation is going, you don't. So what if there was another way? What if you could ask yourself questions? Well, I did that this morning. Before I had my first cup of coffee, I read my emails. Now I may want to ask myself some questions about how wise that is. And the first one was not good news about a real estate deal, and we need this and this and this, and we're supposed to close next week. And I started with, why didn't they think of this sooner? Why didn't they pay a real inspector? Why did they try to save the money? Why didn't their agent warn them? Why didn't I control the other agent because I knew better? Well, that was, I got out a big shovel that took me as deep and as quick down the rabbit hole as it was possible to go. So fortunately, I had to prepare this speech to the end, so I didn't get to stay there long. What if I'd asked some other questions, like, I wonder what's great about this that I'm not getting yet. I wonder what else is possible. Well, possible is ask the sellers if they did actually accidentally have those documents. They didn't. Ask the insurance agent if he had them. He didn't. But there were some other possibilities. So life opened back up again. So I also, when I teach voice lessons, oh my God, do I have answers? Yes. And my husband has answers too. And he sometimes, occasionally, very seldom, will pop into my lessons and give his opinion. Now I've got some answers about that, if you ever do it again, but anyway. There was the day I was sitting at the piano teaching, and I knew he was upstairs with his office door open, and I knew he was listening, and I just thought, what if I could just expand out and be confident and know that I'm teaching well, and that basically the way he teaches is the same way I teach, and I'd be okay with it. Well, I'm not quite there, but for 3 seconds I was, so I see hope. So this is what I have condensed it from. These are things that other people have taught me, and if you're interested, ask me, because I didn't come up with all of this. Why will take you down the rabbit hole. It will take you into how wrong everybody else is, how wrong the universe was, and right back to how wrong you are, and then you go into, I'm such a victim. And that takes us far, we know that. If you start a question with what? What about that? What else is possible? What do I know now that I didn't know then? What's the greatest possibility? Or how? When things go well, if you say, how does it get any better than this? It could get better. When things go really badly, that's not the question you want to ask. You don't want to say, how can it get any better than this? Because it can't. Ask it. It could. So that is my answer to having the answers. They don't help you, questions do.